Hello again, sleevers and modders and everybody else. My name is Bill Owen, and that's a complete lie. Although, can you see the resemblance? Probably not. I think he might have a little bit more hair than I do. Anyway, so it's been a while since I've done another review or anything of the sort. And I'm happy to say I have a little bit of time. I'm getting my store ready, so that's a whole big surprise, woo, for you guys to see. I am in my new Lightroom, so hopefully the light should be a lot better now. I'm hoping to bring all these reviews into a little bit more professional atmosphere. We'll see if that happens. Anyway, Bitfenix was very, what's a good endearing term? They were awesome in allowing me to look at some of their Alchemy cables and some of their Alchemy lights. He gave me a short selection of stuff to look through, so I would love just to go through these with you really quick, and let's get started looking at them. Alright, so you see a short selection of what they have here. They have a ton of colors, and you know, people are on both sides of whether the Alchemy cables are good or bad or even mediocre or somewhere in there. However, there's a few fine points that I have to cover because they're just that awesome. So let me go through these really quick. First, we're going to look at their 24 and 8 pins and 6 pin that they sent me. So let's set aside their SATA cables and let's open these up. Scissors are your best friends. Take that away. A sharp pair of scissors is a good friend. So obviously these are 24 pin extensions, and I did talk to my rep at Bitfenix because I was very saddened to see what happened here. If you can see some of the quality on this, hopefully I can give you a good shot. You can see right there and right there and right there and, well, basically everywhere. Kind of looks like it got drugged through a parking lot. Another thing that really saddened me is the finished result on the top here. Now, I did talk to Bitfenix, and they assured me that this really only happened on the white extensions. So whoever was in charge of making the white extensions, I think you need to find a new job. And I say that in all kindness, because that's not acceptable for modders. So what he did tell me, my rep at Bitfenix, if you get one of these and it looks like this, please get a hold of their customer service. They will replace it ASAP, no questions asked. They know that this is a problem and they are in the middle of fixing it. So don't settle for this, and please try not to base all of their work off of, you know, one line of mishaps. You know, they're a big company. You know, things are about to happen, so give them a little bit of forgiveness. But for me, of course, and for all of you out there, you know that's just not good. So otherwise, it is a nylon type material or a poly multi-threaded. What that does mean is that they are fuzzy, just like paracord. Now, the uniqueness of them is that they use the heat shrinkless method. Now, they do a different heat shrinkless method, and we're going to go through that here in a second. I'm going to undo the green one that they sent me, which is a nice, you know, kind of clover green. You know, it's green. What you would expect a green extension to look like. Now, those of you that know my own work know that I do a rainbow system. Now, what you have to understand is these are, of course, factory made from factory machines to, you know, try to make your demand. Now, they of course can be cleaned up a little bit, and you know, anybody that's done any kind of custom cabling will realize that they need to do a little bit of cleaning themselves to make it look really nice in their system. But as you can see, the green one does not have any of the defects the white one does, and I was assured that the white cabling was the only one that had that problem. So we're going to take this apart really quick so I can show you their method of heat shrinkless, and you'll see what I mean when I say that it's a factory job. What I mean by a factory job is what they did is you can see that they actually crimped the sleeving onto the connector. Now, it does appear that they are using long Molex crimps, whether they're aftermarket or not, I have no idea, but typically the pins that have the longer wings on the end are actual Molex pins. So +1 for Bitfenix on that. Now, putting the actual crimp on the sleeve is something that I normally don't endorse. The reason for being is that if the end is not melted properly, let's see if we can get in there, you can see some of the braiding actually fuzzing off right there. That can be resolved by actually melting the tip and then crimping it, or doing it the normal Lutro way, or I don't really like endorsing any kind of method or anything. And most of you guys that know me, I'm not about the glory or the fame or anything of the sort. I just want the customers to be happy and people to be informed. So if they do this, that's fine. Most people won't be taking these apart like I am, so that's not really a huge deal or a problem for most people. Because it is still strong, it will hold into the connector just fine. Now, something that is unique about these is, and I'm sure people have already thought about this, is that they only come in one color. Now, you wouldn't really want to buy 224 pins just to make your own color combo. However, it's really not that hard to do so if you do buy 2 of them. Now, being that they're factory made, they do offer a really good price on them, so it wouldn't be too hard to do so. And as I'm saying this, I'm realizing I'm kind of putting myself out of business. Or not. Buy from Lutro. Oh, that's a subliminal message there. Not very subliminal. So we're going to take part of our white extension here and just show you how simple it is to do this. All I'm doing is undoing the ends of 2 of these, and they come out fairly easy. The 24 pin side does take a little bit of extra oomph if you get your tool in there right. Now, of course, just a quick plug, this is the original Molex tool. You can't beat this. Don't buy a Sunbeam kit, don't buy a Lamptron kit. I love both their companies, but their ATX pin kits suck. I've heard so many problems about them. This does cost a little bit more, but you will not have any problems removing any pins with it. It can be found at most stores. There is a custom version coming out. Ooh. But you're going to have to wait for that information. So, obviously, I shouldn't even have to go through this to show you, but I want to show you how simple it is to make one of these Bitfenix cables your own. And obviously that's just one. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because that's going to bore you, and this video is already going to be long the way it is. So if you need to make your own custom one, you can. Now, the thing with the Bitfenix cables, for a cheap solution, these are the bomb. But for the pro modders out there, the people that want nothing but the best, you will realize that not all of these cable extension wires are the same length. What that ends up doing is when I pull this straight, you can see the imperfections through it. Again, this is machine made. This is made available and at a cost level for the people that can't afford custom sleeving or don't want to do it themselves. So for the purpose that they are made, they are perfect. And I say that in that it's for the purpose. Now, could there be, you know, things that could be done better? Of course. You know, you guys know myself to be a huge perfectionist, so I try my best not to trash things, because there's a purpose and there's a market for everything. And you got to realize that when Bitfenix makes these at an affordable price level, of course there's going to be imperfections in certain areas, period. No matter any kind of cable maker that tries to make them at a price point that anybody could afford them, there's going to be this. So this isn't just unique to Bitfenix. NZXT does the same thing, and all the other companies that make a price point level for these. So again, for the price point, you're getting a deal, because a custom cable, just say like from myself, I do a 24 pin for $75. These are not $75. In fact, you can get a full kit for probably about close to the same price. That'll include all your cables. So making a Bitfenix cable uniquely your own is easy and possible if you have the right tools and a little bit of patience. Remember that these are extensions, so they go 1-to-1, meaning this pin on this side on the top in the left hand corner is going to be on the top and left hand corner over here. It is just an extension. What that does is extend your existing power supply cable a little bit longer, so that all you see is the sleeved goodness. So I am also going to go one step further here, and I'm going to dissect one of these, because you know that I like to tinker. So I'm going to take the white one here that's kind of beat up, because I'm not going to use it for anything, nor am I going to give it away because it's kind of jacked up. So here's a good opportunity to show you something. You guys have a really hard time sometimes removing pins, even with the Molex pin. If you see me wrap my finger around and use the index finger to get a good pull on it, the ones that you're going to have problems with, you can just pull right out. Even if you have to pull on them a little bit, as long as you have straight force coming back and you loop it around your finger like that, you will get the pin out. Sometimes it'll take a little bit more work, but be careful, because of course you can rip it right out of the pin. But most of the time, if you have your tool put in right and you push the pin up first, then yank out, it will come out. And if you mess up the little wings on there, grab an X-Acto knife and go ahead and pull them out. And the wings I'm talking about are these little holder wings, and what they do is they actually hold it inside of the connector. So let's cross section one of these. You will see that they use black cable, and if I'm correct, this is this is UL1000718 all AWG gauge wire. This is a typical wire that most modders use. It has a thinner outer layer, and it is 18 gauge, and it is a stranded wire. In this case, it's a tinned stranded cable. Lots of people use this. I actually tell people to use this same cable when it comes to doing heat shrinkless, because it has a very, very small diameter. It crimps extremely well, and it works. So for this case, of course, they are using a nylon type material, so it will cover the cable no matter what is underneath. Typically, if you're using a plastic cable or a plastic sleeving, you are going to want to use a white wire, but in their purposes here, it doesn't matter. This also makes it easier for it to actually get put inside the connector on these. And being that it's a nylon material, it looks a little bit bigger. So that is the guts of one of those. And those are pretty much the same for the 24 pin. They have a nice 6-pin here, I believe. Yep, 6-pin extension. It's all the same. It does, again, the white ones do have some of those imperfections, like there's dirt marks on this one. But like I said, they are fixing this. And if you have something like this, do not settle for it. Go ahead, give them a call, and they'll replace it for you. So, we're going to move on. Again, I think this one is another 6-pin in black, and it's same setup as the rest of them. I want to move on to something that I absolutely really like. And they sent me 3 of their USB data SATA cables. Now, the reason why I like these so much is that for paracord, there is not a size of paracord that you can sleeve SATA data cables with. It doesn't work. So, this is why I like them so much. Actually, there's 2 reasons why I really like these. They are the only company that I know of that actually puts the sleeving molded into the connector. This by far is the cleanest SATA cable out there that is sleeved, and it looks really nice. Now, it is paracord, so the people that use paracord for their sleeving, it matches perfectly. So if you are sleeving your system in paracord and doing individual sleeving and you're bummed out that you absolutely cannot use SATA sleeving to do your SATA connectors, just go buy some Bitfenix ones. There's not a darn thing wrong with them. They will match your system, and you will have extra E-peen and extra coolness points because your SATA connectors actually look SATA sleeved with paracord, and it matches. So get yourself a pair of these if you're using paracord. Again, it matches perfectly and it looks awesome. So we're going to move on to the Alchemy power strips, but first I want to do a quick little tutorial here that anybody that sleeves can do. Now, if you're water cooling, or if you're wanting to test out your power supply and test some fans and whatnot, it's very easy to do this. These are Molex male connectors. They're simply just pins. These ones actually come on a reel, and I buy all mine in a reel because they're a little bit cheaper that way, and I just like them in a reel, and that's just me. This is your awesome crimper. You'll notice that the handle's blue. That is because this is one of my own design. So, and I know I'm going to get a ton of questions about that, but this will all be answered later on. So, we're going to take an awesome pair of snips here that I have, and we are going to simply make a small length that is enough to make a loop. I'm going to take, again, an awesome pair of Nipix wire strippers here. These are, without paying $1 billion, these are by far the best. I have not found a pair of wire strippers that are as easy to use, because these are it's a gun setup, and they're just darn easy to use. I love them. So we are going to, I like to do a couple clicks on my pins just to have it hold into the wire, because it's a lot easier that way. That, and then you can make sure that when you insert the pin, it goes right up to the connector. Now, I like to strip them at 3mm. Most guides out there tell you to do 2mm. I like 3mm because it gives a little bit more contact point with the wire to the connector. Whether that makes a huge deal electrically, I really don't know. But I'm just going to put this in the crimper. Crimp it. Using a little bit of thicker wire here. And that's just me. Sometimes it actually likes to kill off one of the sides that crimps, but that's okay. This is just for testing purposes. So then you have yourself an awesome jumper. What I'm going to do with this jumper is you're going to find your green wire, which is right there. It's hard to see because this is a little bit darker green. And I'm going to insert this right into the pin where the green one is. And then I'm going to put this other one in any one of the grounds. In fact, there's a ground right next to it over here. I'm going to try not to get too close because I don't want to zap it. Now, you can use many things, everything from, a paper clip to everything else, but I tend to try to do it a little bit safe here. For these, my ones that I make myself, I'll actually put a little bit of heat shrink here so that it heat shrinks up to this point so that there's no way I'm going to kill the power supply, which, you're going to have a hard time killing a power supply if you do that anyway. So, these are the Alchemy LED strips. I like these for a number of reasons, which I will point out here. Of course, the dreaded bubble packaging. These are 60 centimeter. And they always smell weird. And I've used a ton of different kinds that are just like this, from 3M to the cheap Chinese ones, and they all just smell kind of weird. Now they have an adhesive backing on them. They're spaced out with SMD lights. And if you hide these in a case, which you should be able to because they're nice and thin and you can put them pretty much anywhere. Now, there's also another really cool thing about these is that they are extendable, meaning you can buy more than one kit and use, let me get this out of here, the provided jumper here and plug it in. And then you can put another strip at the end of this. Now, that was a very good design on their part because most people are going to use more than one 60 centimeter light extension. Did I tell you I really like these? Good. Because I do. So, you have a couple different ways. That's for a converter, but for this, we're just going to make this easy here. And this actually plugs right into this. So, what we're going to do here is use our converter clip, which clips right on, if I'm doing it right, which I'm not, such a terrible reviewer. And it snaps right in. And of course this can all be sleeved just as easy. So we're going to take that initial jumper piece that connects the pieces and we're going to put it on this side. And it snaps in. It's a little bit hard to snap in, but that makes sure that it doesn't fall out, which is a great idea. So retake their connector piece, shove that in too, and you're ready to go. So now that we already have our PSU jumped here, which I must show off, is just your normal CX430 Corsair Builder power supply, which they work phenomenal on a lot of different applications. We're going to plug it into our 4-pin Molex here. And we're going to turn it on. Now, being that I jumped the power supply, it should just automatically run. And there we go. Power supply is running. And these, sir, are bright. I can't explain enough how bright these are. The SMDs use 3 different light emitting diodes inside of them, and so they will light up the crud out of your case. They are black on this side, as you can see, the tape, the transistor part of it here, but they look awesome. They are very well put together. You can hide them very well and they will light up your system very easily. Yes, it's not sleeved, but there's a purpose for that. These are meant to be stealth. They're meant to be hidden inside of your case in a place where people will not actually see the lights, which to me is a very tasteful thing because you don't want to be staring directly at an LED or SMD. You want it to be in a place where it's going to emit the light and at the same time be hidden, because you don't want to be able to see it, but you want to be able to see the awesome colors that it does. Now, they do offer a variety of colors. They have sent me a white kit, which I'm going to actually open that one because I want to show you something. They have an orange kit and a red kit. Now, orange has been something, I'm actually going to open up two of these here. Orange has been something that a lot of SMD or LED providers have a really hard time doing. And this is an actual small kit, so if you want a small area, I think this one is, I lied. This is a 30 centimeter kit, and the one I just took off is a 12 centimeter kit, which is great for those really small areas that you want to cover. And so I'm going to take the same jumper off of this one. I'm going to put it on here, and we're going to see how awesome this looks. Again, you just connect this guy together, making sure to plug it in right. And here you go. And it's hard to show you because of the lights and everything, but this is an orange, and that makes a huge deal. There we go. It's waiting for the full light up. There's a single, like I said, there's 3 different light emitting parts to this, and it's looking like one of them's flickering. Again, this happens. It's not awesome that it does, but unfortunately sometimes stuff like that happens, and it doesn't matter if I move it around or not. I'm just trying to see if there's a loose connection in here somewhere, and you know, I might just not have it plugged in all the way. So that was, oh, maybe not. Bitfenix, why are you making this hard for me to give you a good review? So it seems on this one that there's some connection problems. Bitfenix has some of the best tech support that I know to be out there, so if you ever have a problem with any of their products like this, please just let them know and they'll replace it. In this case right here, one of the 3 SMD light emittings are actually not turning on and they're flickering, but the rest of them are lighting up really well. So this is one case out of the others, and you know, now that I see this, I'm going to open the rest of them and see what we have here. So that was orange. I really want to show you the white one here, because white is a color that is really hard to get right. This one's going to be a 30 centimeter kit as well. And we're going to plug this in. Make sure I got it in there all the way this time. Okay. Now, as far as white goes, there's a spectrum of white, and photographers, you definitely know what I'm talking about. There is blue light, and then there's yellow light. And what we strive for, especially in the modding world, is to get a white. Now, looking at this, I can tell you that this is white. It is a perfect daylight white, and you can't really get much better than this. And this is where a lot of LED strips, or even you know, cold cathodes, dare anybody still tries to use those nowadays when there's so many other options out there. This is perfect if you want to put a white backdrop in your system. And in fact, I'm actually a huge proponent of using white light inside of a system. if you've spent all that time sleeving your system and you still have blue LEDs, what that will do is it will saturate your case with that light, and your original awesome color scheme that you spent all that time to work on inside of your case turns into different colors. Because we know that if we add color and resaturate it, it actually changes the original colors of everything that's inside of your case. So if you're going to make a build, think first before you sleeve, because if you flood it with blue light, you're going to end up with gray colored or gray tinged cables. So I like to use white light, like real white light. In fact, I will be using these strips inside of my Aspros mod because I need white light, because it's a black and white build whenever I actually get to finish it. So while we're going, why not open up the red one? I've already killed about 30 minutes of your time as normal, so we're just gonna go for it, shall we? And typically, as Lutro likes to do most of the time, I make a gigantic mess. So, even have this nice little jumper that gives you a little bit of leeway in case you want to do a corner in your case, which is perfect because you can bend a corner just like that. So, I'm actually going to use this one just because I want to. And then I'm going to plug them all together because that's what cool people do. Right? Cool people do that. Okay, maybe I'm going a little bit farther with that. So, I just killed myself here. Oh, there we go. Let's see what red looks like. It's another color that's really hard to get right. And oh, it is a deep, rich red. It is not orange. It looks perfect. Again, they have spent a lot of time getting these right, except for, of course, that orange one, which happens. I tend not to tear down people for stuff that happens. You got to realize that these are made in a factory, and they do their absolute best to keep quality control right. So we're going to add all these together. I'm going to shut it off before I shock myself, which is a pretty common thing. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a multicolored rainbow. And then you guys can see what they all look like together. And then I can shut up talking so we can be done with this review. I'm going to put our poor orange one at the end here. I got to pull out another jumper though. If you guys have seen the Ghost case that they have come out with, it is an awesome case, and I have a surprise for you at the end of this about an upcoming review that I will be doing. Oh. Yep, our orange LED is still doing its thing. So, here is our lights. We have red. We have white, we have blue, again, which is a very rich blue. We're not talking navy, we're not talking washed out, we're talking an actual blue color. And then we have our orange, which again is actual orange. And let me put this up to the red so you can see the difference here. Now, my camera is not going to show the difference, so I apologize, but take my word for it. This is a pure orange and this is a pure red. Again, a lot of people who make LED strips screw up on this. They don't have deep, rich colors that emit that bright color in a bright fashion, and normally you get a orange color that's washed out or a red color that's washed out in a pink. That is not the case with these. These are quality. They are worth the little bit extra price for an LED strip simply because they're stealth and the colors are phenomenal. They did a great job with these. So, now for my surprise. Now, some of you have already heard me on the forums talking about how awesome that I think the ghost case is. So, 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Bitfenix was awesome enough to send me a ghost. Now I will say this really quick about this case, and then I will be done. If you have not checked out the ghost case and you have not really given it a good look, go to their website, bitfenix.com, and look at it. If you are ever looking for a modder's case that is minimal, but yet at the same time will allow you to do as many mods as you want, and it's just a blank canvas. And I can't stress out enough, the second I saw it on their site when I was doing research, I told the source at Bitfenix, I need to have one of those. I need to show other modders on how clean of a case it is and how many different options that it has, because it's a clean canvas. There's so many cases out there that have so many doodads and awesome things on them that by the time you get done with it, what did you really mod? You added a few lights or something, and personally I don't really think that's modding. You are building a computer, so don't lie to yourself. Don't call it a mod if it's just, you know, a couple lights and maybe you put a fan hole in it. A full mod is something that you take time with, something that you're passionate about, that you have a vision, and that you theme it and you make it exactly what you want. You cut tons of holes, you customize that case. And to find cases that are a pure and utter blank canvas are hard to find. So I'm excited that in my next reviews coming up that I'm going to be showing you the ghost and showing you just how much of a blank canvas it is. And you know, a lot of people nowadays, they look at cases and they see the plain ones and they think, oh great, that's just, you know, a plain box. But really, in a modder's point of view, if you see a case that's completely blank, that should get your, you know, noggin going. You should start thinking to yourself, wow, that's perfect for modding, because you can customize that case exactly how you want. So this was my review, first one for Bitfenix. These are their cables. Of course, there is some flaws. Anything that's mass produced does have that problem, but it's good for your money. The LED strips are perfect, and for the purpose that those cables are made, you know, it's a mass produced item, but it's made for a price point for people that can't afford or do not have the time to do a fully custom product. And you know, obviously I'm a proponent of doing your own, but if you don't have the time and you don't have the money, there is nothing wrong with you doing your best to customize some of Bitfenix cables and making them work for yourself. So that's the end for this review. I hope that it's been informative. I hope that I've dove a little bit further than most people do into it. Again, the SATA cables, the Alchemy SATA cables by Bitfenix are just perfect. If you're using paracord to sleeve your system, which a lot of people still do, and you know, it's still a great medium. It's cheap, it's widely available, comes in a lot of different colors. It's a little bit harder to work with, but once you've been working with it for a while, you know, it's not a problem. But the SATA cables match perfectly for a paracord system. So I hope that this has been helpful. I appreciate you guys always checking out my channel. I appreciate all the subscriptions that you guys have given me. I also appreciate all the support that I continually get. Please continue to send me questions. I will answer them as fast as I possibly can. And have a good day. Thanks.